Who will this book help, and how does it work? For those who have tried 100 times, this book is written for those women who have tried many times, who have made real efforts, but who cannot lose weight. It doesn't matter for what reasons. The real reasons are hidden from us, like a car in a blind spot that the other driver does not see, not because he is not looking well, but simply because he actually cannot see it for objective reasons. I'll explain it differently. For those who don't drive, we can't see what's right behind us. We can turn our heads more and more. We can speculate what is there, but to see, we just need to turn around. So, those who can't lose weight in any way, it's as if they can't turn around. They go forward all the time, looking for new routes, and the reasons why they cannot achieve harmony up there, behind them, in the blind spot. Cockroaches in my head, and we cannot see them ourselves. We need help to find them. Perhaps a specialist who can help you figure it out, or, at worst, a mirror to look behind you. But if you have accumulated 73 or even more kilograms, then you have definitely been saving them for more than 1 year. So, both literally and figuratively, you need to turn around to see what is really happening when you want to sort of lose weight, solve a problem with your body, but you can't. And yes, the number 73 is mentioned for a reason. I'll tell you why below. I am a weight loss consultant, coach, psychologist, and motivator. Many women who want to lose weight have passed through my hands, both successful and unsuccessful in this. I spent a lot of time on my personal training in the field of weight loss, dietetics, psychology, medicine, medical approach to the treatment of obesity, hypnosis, diets, motivation, needs, family relationships, gender influence, and transgenerational transmission. Well, maybe I didn't go to my grandmother's to learn from experience and techniques. I got to the point where I decided to get a second degree in psychology, because I understood that the problem of excess weight lay somewhere there. So far, September 2019, have spent about 700 hours on training alone. And, of course, I delved into this topic for a reason. I myself started losing weight from 80 kilograms. When my photo almost literally began to make me cry and feel nauseous. I haven't been photographed for 6 years. I was simply killed by my reflection in the mirror, and even more so by my photos. From the experience of my work with clients, I can say that if a woman's weight has reached 73 kilograms or more, then most likely she systematically eats emotions. Even if you are tall, this weight is already the beginning of the pre-obesity stage. Remember your physical sensations when you were at your normal weight. Lightness, mobility, no shortness of breath, no tight jeans, no feeling that fat is hanging on top, above the jeans, that panties, trousers, skirts are digging into your waist. You can't fool the body. It knows exactly what weight it feels good at, and how much does he need to eat for this. Remember the children who say, "I don't want to eat anymore," or "I don't want to eat at all." The child feels his body perfectly and speaks out loud when he does not need food. Now come back to the present. Remember, how often do you eat when you feel hungry? When was the last time you ate with a healthy, strong, cool feeling of animal hunger? Not because of thoughts like what would I like to eat? What would be such a tasty snack? Or maybe some coffee? Remember how many times you ate over the past few days without feeling hungry at all. How often do you feel like you've overeaten after eating? What was it possible not to eat at all, because you didn't really want to? How often do you realize that you should have stopped half a plate ago? This is precisely the gap between eating to replenish physical energy and eating for something else, for someone else, because of someone, because of something, because you felt sad, lonely, because you are angry today, because you put the children to bed and finally in the evening you can devote time to yourself, because you feel bad and you want to please yourself, because you are nervous, you want to relieve tension, because you've been under such stress at work for the last years that you've just been shaking for the last months. The body is an ideal mechanism. The state of health is its natural state. The body experiences joy. It wants and can feel great and healthy. It will not harm itself. The body does not want to die from diseases associated with excess weight. It doesn't want to feel bad at all. It is our psyche, our mind, unable to cope with the stress or dramas of life, that tries to balance its conditions with the help of excess food. It seems to us that if we eat something delicious, especially in the company of friends or loved ones, we will have more strength, mental, emotional, physical. Fatigue will pass. We will be inspired to do great things. We will feel lightness and happiness in life. Today we will eat, and tomorrow we will begin to do great things. And in the morning we'll start doing exercises and creating a better version of ourselves. What we are definitely capable of is what we have long dreamed of. But after eating a large meal, we again feel like we have overeaten. In reality, we feel that we have less strength. We feel worse physically. After this, you are overtaken by a feeling of guilt, mental fatigue, and you begin to rot yourself for the fact that you couldn't resist again. You never managed to do exercises. At work again, there are no achievements, but only a muddy routine that makes you want to howl and no prospects. If you have accumulated 73 kilograms or more, then this most likely happened over more than the last 2 years. They somehow ate up on your own, little by little. You've tried to lose them. Maybe you've even been stubbornly going to the gym lately. The effort just doesn't pay off. You force yourself to go to the gym. You put in the effort. You don't eat crab sticks and unhealthy foods, but the weight is still there. Or 4 kilograms dangle back and forth. This book is just for you. For that woman who can't do it. You weigh 73 kilograms or more. Your BMI body mass index is 26.5 or higher. You've been on diets, but the weight always comes back. Most likely you are over 27 years old. Perhaps you don't like physical activity in general, either because after gaining weight you feel uncomfortable coming to the gym, or because you are embarrassed to ask trainers about specific exercises, or because since school you just hate physical education. Who definitely does not need this book? Those who objectively have normal weight. This is a BMI up to about 23. They manage to lose weight on diets without major problems, and sometimes without dieting at all. They love or have a negative attitude towards fitness and physical activity. Also, this book is not suitable for those diagnosed with anorexia or bulimia. Girls with such things go to the doctors. For anyone diagnosed with obesity, this book is suitable as an additional study of their psychological problems. I would also like to draw the attention of everyone who has a BMI over 30. This is definitely a diagnosis of obesity. If you come to the doctor with a question about nutrition, about weight, the doctor will automatically give you such a diagnosis based on BMI. So don't hide behind illusions. If, according to your calculations, your BMI is more than 30, you definitely have class I obesity. And period. If you don't know your body mass index, let's determine it right now. Divide your weight in kilograms by the square of your height in meters, for example. 1.67 meters. For example, if you weigh 74 kilograms and are 168 centimeters tall, then your BMI is 74 over 1. 68*1. 68 equals 26. 22. Take a pen and write, my weight now, _kg. My height, _m. BMI equals _kg. Height _m*, height _m. 16. You have severe underweight 16 to 18. 5. You are underweight 18. 5 to 25. Normal body weight 25 to 30. Pre-obese. Overweight 30 to 35. I degree obesity 35 to 40. E degree obesity 40. E degree obesity. It's also figure out how excess weight is formed and dispel a couple more illusions. Excess weight does not appear out of nowhere or out of thin air. There is only one reason for excess weight: overeating. Yes, yes, yes. Even people diagnosed with hormones are overweight not because of treatment, not because of pills and medications, but because of overeating. In their case, two factors simply coincide: medications, which may slightly increase appetite, plus the person's tendency to overeat. Moreover, the number of such drugs is very limited. Taking medications may increase your overeating habit, but medications will not cause you to overeat for the rest of your life. After stopping taking such drugs, people who are not inclined to overeat will stop gaining weight and lose it easily. Those who have the tendency will continue to eat a lot. So, we figured out the physiological cause of excess weight. It's just overeating. But why can some people not overeat and easily get up from the table, simply satisfying their hunger, while others cannot? Why do many women seem to eat nothing, but still don't lose weight and, even worse, gain weight? Why do doctors consider obesity a lifelong disease when in reality, there are people who lose weight, and, by the way, forever? Here it is, the main secret. Yes, the only reason for excess weight is overeating, but the reasons for overeating lie not in the medical sphere, but in the psychological one. That's where the dog is buried, and some people work through these psychological reasons, while the other part does not know, does not want, cannot deal with them, and they remain overweight and with their own problems. They continue to relieve tension caused by psychological problems with food. Having worked through the psychological reasons that trigger eating, you will actually lose weight easily and forever, because there will be no need to eat. Bingo! You just need to deal with those cockroaches that are running the show in your head. I myself lost my first 7 kilograms, and I really didn't notice how it happened. No diets, no calories, no restrictions. I began to eat less only because I stopped having feelings of anger, resentment and irritation that I experienced in a completely different area of my life, and I used to relieve these feelings by eating. There are no grievances, there are no feelings that require release and which I eat away. No eating, no extra calories, -7 kilograms in 2 months. You just need to deal with your cockroaches in your head, and first see them. How this book is structured and why it will work. This book does not contain diets or exercise routines. I'm sure you can find all this on the internet without my help. This entire book is dedicated to why you really can't lose weight, even if you know all the principles of proper nutrition, even if you have a subscription to a fitness club, even if you can already write a dissertation on dietetics. The book is structured so that you can understand with your head the psychological laws relating to excess weight. Understand how they manifest themselves in real life. Finally, understand what food addiction is. Otherwise, the term is completely unpleasant, and it's somehow inappropriate to sometimes apply it to yourself. It sounds really creepy, don't you agree? See many other people's reasons for excess weight and, after doing the exercises, see your own. Understand the mechanism of breakdowns and jams, how they arise, why, develop a scheme for yourself on how to reduce your breakdowns or even eliminate them altogether. You will really see why you can't lose weight, and you will clearly know the enemy by sight. After this, it will become easy for you, because now you will know what to work on. Most likely, before you were simply digging in the wrong place. From her cell in prison, she spent 10 years digging an underground passage to the next cell, and we need to go out. And now you will know where the exit is. At the beginning of reading this book, your psychological reasons for excess weight will literally be in your blind spot, and at the end of the reading, many words and letters will be written in this zone. Some may even be obscene. You will discover a new world for yourself and clarify what is happening in your life. What exactly is connected with your excess weight in reality. You will line up your cockroaches, and you will be in command of the parade, not them. And further, This is a consult book. Please forget about what you can't write in a book. This is the book you need to write in. I specifically highlight places in the text where you need to write right away. Believe me, with a pen and notes, the benefit of this book for you will be 5 times greater than just reading it. I would even say this: the benefits will come only from reading and writing with a pen. Do the exercises, and may the strength of spirit be with you. Diary of emotions and reasons for eating, and here it is. The first task. It is lighter than light. Take a notebook or notebook right now. I knew you might be lazy. Ha ha ha. That's why I specifically left a whole blank pages right here in the book, so as that you wouldn't have any chance of blending in. The task is to write down today and yesterday, if you remember the time you ate and the reason why you decided to eat. Well, the God level is a list of what you ate, plus the total number of calories per meal. If you are an ardent opponent of calories or, conversely, don't understand what I'm talking about, then write only the time you eat and the reason for eating. So, divide the following lines into 5 columns: time of eating, reason for eating, what you ate, how many calories it is. The 5th is the mystery column. We will fill it out later. Fill in everything you ate yesterday and today. How many can you remember? Or the first 2 columns, or 4, as it turns out. Right now, until you fill it out. We won't go any further. Yesterday and today. Remember everything you ate. Go ahead. There is physiological hunger, when the body requires energy. Well, for example, remember your childhood, when I spent 4 hours running around the street with my girlfriends. It's evening, and I really don't want to go home, but I have to, and I'm hungry. Do you remember what it's like when you really want to eat? That's great. And there are other types of hunger. Emotional, you want joy. You want to chat with your girlfriends, but you're in a cafe, and you need to take something. With your husband, with colleagues at work for company. Well, or the tower. She puts everyone to bed in the evening, sat alone in the kitchen, put everyone on a plate, and sometimes even coffee at 10 at night. And here it is, the buzz. Time for yourself. Exhaled. You can return to yourself after the bustle of the day. Your task over the next few days, or better yet, the next year or two, if you weigh more than 80 kilograms, is to keep a strict record of the reasons for your eating. Approach this more strictly than accounting for spending money. We will return to this exercise later in the book. You will find a lot of interesting things in your diary. So, let's summarize our start. Read this book and work through your reasons for being overweight if your BMI is over 26. If your BMI is less than 26, read for general education. There is only one reason for being overweight: overeating. We eat more than our body needs. It cannot throw this food away anywhere. It has to process it and put it in our sides. There are 2 reasons for overeating. Simply out of ignorance. People eat more than they need. And when they begin to realize how much food is the norm for them, they easily adjust and lose weight. No problem. Easily. Calmly. The second reason for overeating lies in the field of psychology. She's invisible, not visible. She is like a backpack behind our back, which we do not see or feel. And in it, there is a bunch of cockroaches and our mental problems and experiences. We cannot see them ourselves. This book will help you like a mirror. Carefully turn around and look behind yourself. You will see a lot of interesting things. Keep a pen nearby. You will have to think and write down. Let's deal with the cockroaches in your head. You are good. It's not your fault for your extra pounds. 22 arguments in your favor. I really want you to take off your rose-colored glasses regarding excess weight and begin to gradually and methodically sort out your life and lose weight. Until we understand how things work, we will walk through this stupid labyrinth without a map at all. Sign up for all kinds of marathons. Go on different diets. Go to esoteric gatherings of nice women who know everything about energies and the world. And meditate on positive thinking. I think positively, drink Riduslam, sit on the PP, walk 10,000 steps once a week, and go to yoga once every 2. Pink glasses. Let's get some pink binoculars, and let's deal with the real, objective reasons for excess weight, in which you are not in Ionoviatia. I repeat, this is not your fault. Blame 22. Really existing causes of excess weight. But don't rush to rejoice and shift responsibility for the buns you eat onto everyone but yourself. We will go through each reason, but in general they are called factors that, in bizarre combinations, lead some to excess weight and others not. But in any case, they are not your fault. And so, right now, start reducing your feelings of guilt about your appearance. I'm telling you, it's not your fault. And guilt is a harmful feeling. It grows and becomes deadly habitual. Our overeating is influenced by 4 groups of hidden reasons, the so-called risk factors. What makes them unique is that they may or may not work. They are complementary and interdependent. There are at least 22 of them, and in different combinations, they create for each person their own personal, comprehensive picture of the reasons for their particular excess weight. And I want to show you that none of these 22 factors are initially under your control. Go. The first group of risk factors, biological. Here we have genetics, age, illness, the phenomenon of such a seemingly harmless substance as sugar. 1. Genetics. Yes, there is an infinitesimal percentage of people who, due to mutations in genes from birth, have problems with, for example, the hormone leptin, and they actually have genetic problems with obesity. However, genetically determined heredity only brings into your life a predisposition to the problem of excess weight, but not the extra pounds themselves. And as practice shows, people with a genetic predisposition to obesity are often disrupted primarily by their eating habits, which comes from the parental family, from which both genes and eating habits were passed on. And obesity develops for the same reason as everyone else, due to overeating, but not because of genes. That is, if their parents had not taught them to constantly overeat and not listen to the voice of the body that says, "Enough, I'm full," they would be slim, despite their genes. The primary factor in this case is overeating, not genes. There is no such thing as congenital obesity, and wide bone too. Thus, if you were born into a family of overweight people, yes, most likely you have a predisposition to it. But, if you get rid of bad eating habits, you will stop gaining excess weight. In any case, you are not to blame for your heredity. 2. Age. With age, the speed of internal metabolic processes slows down, and if you don't take care of your diet and don't watch it, you'll gain excess weight. Due to the biological characteristics of the human body, we age because everything inside begins to move more slowly. Blood, oxygen, everything. This means that a person needs less energy to ensure the vital functions of his body. It is known that old people generally eat little. This is precisely a consequence of a slower metabolism. What does this mean for us? You need to eat even less to maintain the weight you had before. There are studies that say that per year, starting at age 30, metabolism slows down by 1%. It seems very little, but let's talk about numbers. I did the math for you. Most likely you don't like numbers. If you weigh 60 kilograms at 30, then in the first 5 years, if you eat the same amount as before and move as much as you did at 30, your weight will still grow to 63 kilograms. Take your phone. Calculate annually plus 1% to 60 kilograms over the next 3 years. You'll gain to more kilograms. And over the next 2 years, by age 40, you'll gain to more. Bottom line, at the age of 40, without changing anything in your lifestyle and diet without overeating, mind you, you will already weigh 67 kilograms. If you start with 70 kilograms, then in 10 years, you will automatically gain more than 8 kilograms only due to the biological characteristics of any human body. If you weigh 80 kilograms at the age of 30, Then in 10 years, without overeating, due to a slowdown in metabolic processes, you will weigh 89 kilograms. This is a given, and it's also not your fault that the years go by. 3. Sugar. Features of such a tasty substance as sugar. Sugar triggers the release of dopamine and other reward system neurotransmitters in the pleasure center of the brain. Moreover, it copes with this much faster than natural products. Sugar affects the pleasure system in the same way as drugs. This means that for your brain, the sensations of joy are the same, both after a marshmallow, and after getting a good grade at school, and after getting a better position, after sex, after going to the gym, after chatting with friends. Sugar is a dopamine pie. Now imagine how much easier it is for us to eat marshmallows compared to, for example, learning English to get a new position, cake now, or work long and tediously on yourself to lose weight someday later. Why, if for your body and brain physiologically this is the same joy, marshmallows and a new position with a higher salary, cake and a beautiful figure, hormones control us. Dopamine rules us 10 times more powerfully than our mental desires and dreams. Now do you understand why we want sweets so much? Especially when there are so many difficulties and routine tasks in life. The brain is perplexed. Why do you need to pump up your ABS if you can eat marshmallows and sit back on the couch with the same buzz? And you didn't know it. You didn't know that sugar replaces real life with real achievements and joys from them. Therefore, it is not your fault that you are drawn to sweets. Your brain is the most optimal system in the world. He takes the shortest route to achieve his goal. Need joy, pleasure, we eat a sweet pie. Objectively, you almost cannot directly control the production and functioning of dopamine and other hormones in your brain, and it's not your fault. 4. Diseases. If you already have any diagnosis related to nutrition, sugar and insulin, your internal metabolic processes are already disrupted, and the call of your body, for example, really increased hunger with decreased sensitivity of tissues to insulin, you cannot overcome in any way. The body demands, and you eat, and you can't tell your insulin, hey, insulin, you better work there, otherwise I have problems with weight. If this is your situation, then you can't blame yourself for following your hunger. It's not your fault that your hunger is stronger than other people. The second group of risk factors, society and the surrounding society. 5. Public stereotypes about fat people. Yes, of course, each of us has the right to self-expression. Each person is individual, and each is a personality, but we do not live in the forest or in the desert. Man is truly a herd creature. If a person is deprived, removed from society, he will have specific irreversible changes and mental and developmental problems. We cannot live outside society. I'm not talking about the 1% of gurus who go into the forest or mountains to live as hermits and without all human passions. I'm talking about ordinary people. The most pleasant thing in life is love and warm, sincere relationships between people. The hunger for emotional attention and communication is incomparable to anything, and in order to live and be in the pack, a person sacrifices a lot. Feeling like an outcast is unbearable for any person. Therefore, we accept the rules of society, rules that are formulated out loud or present unspoken in the mini-societies in which we live. This is your parental family, your personal family, friends, colleagues, acquaintances, residents of your city, village, classmates at school. These people, the opinions of these people are very important to us, no matter what we say out loud, and no matter how much we boast of our independence. We do not want to be outcasts, to go against the rules of society. You need to have remarkable inner strength and actually be a leader, a person who leads others. Then such a person himself sets the rules for his group. What am I talking about? To the fact that public opinion influences us, regardless of whether we want it or not. Society believes that a fat person is a lazy, undisciplined, unkempt, weak person with weak willpower, that he is sick in some way. It's not good to be friends with him. He's unsuccessful. He's losing out in the hiring competition, behind the scenes. And this attitude makes us fatter. We cannot help but feel such an attitude, even if they do not say it out loud. And this strengthens our own self-doubts, suppresses the will, and forms self-fulfilling prophecies. Well, I can't, and I can't lose weight, and I'm not very good at work, and everything is bad with relationships. Such social stereotypes aggravate the problems of overweight people and add to their already shaky self-esteem. 6. The opinion that successful means slim. If you live in Manhattan in New York, where success is king and god, you can afford to be fat even less than a resident of Moscow or Minsk. You won't be promoted up the career ladder. If you don't know how to keep your body in check, you won't be able to give your all at work. So the boss reasons. 7. The concept that a beautiful woman is a woman weighing up to 53 kilograms. Only the lazy have not written on this topic. Yes, we look at the catwalks, at the media, at the gloss. Only things that weigh little are in demand. Even gadgets, the thinner, the cooler. 8. Eating behavior in the parental family. For example, in someone's family, it was accepted that portions are always plentiful, twice as large as needed. And this is the great value of such a family. This will be the norm for you too. You will automatically reach for more, because your entire childhood was the sign of a good child. Portions and more. If most of your relatives are overweight, then for you, on a subconscious level, this is also most likely the norm. If your mother grabbed your hand as a child and made terrible eyes when you wanted to throw away the half-eaten food in the trash, you probably thought, well, don't throw it away. You finish everything, even if the body clearly says that it doesn't want to eat. We are good girls. We obeyed our mother. We are just used to it being the right way. And some of the extra pounds on your legs are a consequence of unthrown pieces of food. And you would be better off if they actually found their rest in the trash, and not tormented you with their reflection in the mirror on your hips. 9. Stereotypes about food that you inherited from your parents' family. If in your parental family, your mother forced you to eat everything on your plate, you ate it. If your grandmother told you that you had to finish eating everything, you ate everything, even if you didn't want to. Surely now you finish eating not only for yourself, but also for the children. And all these phrases, they are imprinted on your brain and worldview system, like Franklin's portrait on a $100 bill. Now they jump out of you automatically, and you think that's what you think. But in fact, your relatives thought so, and you can. Think as you want. Change your beliefs. 10. Eating habits in your own family. For example, the husband believes that weekends are a time for large meals. He's used to it, and for him, the very concept of family is fused with food. Good family relationships for him are, first of all, an abundance of delicious food in the house. If from your own parental family, these concepts are also tightly connected, the situation is even more complicated. If your husband is used to eating a huge plate of fried potatoes with pork in front of the TV at 10 in the evening, and he is important to you, your husband, then you will have a hard time refusing the same portion next to him at 10 in the evening. Your family relationships are important to you, and if he doesn't understand your desire to change your diet, it will be much more difficult for you to keep your weight normal. And here you won't have to choose between an apple and fried potatoes. You will really be choosing between your marital relationship and your desire to become slimmer. And it is not known what you will choose, especially if you have 2 small children in your arms and you haven't worked for the last 5 years because you're on maternity leave. You can fantasize and imagine that your housing issue is not being resolved and you live in a rented apartment. What choice will you make if your husband wants you to eat your family dinner together in the evening? 11. Attitudes towards food and excess weight among a close circle of friends. How are you used to spending time with friends, acquaintances, colleagues? Are friendly parties accompanied by a good feast? How do you relax on a Friday evening? Are you walking down the street and going to an exhibition or going to a cafe and taking a huge platter of snacks for a group and each person getting an extra hot dish and a salad? Is obesity the norm among those around you? Take 5 of your closest friends and write down their weight, and then determine the arithmetic mean. Most likely the number will be the same as yours. What I mean is that if everyone around you is fat and hanging out at a rich table in a cafe, then such an environment will definitely resist your weight loss, directly or hidden. 12. Peculiarities of attitude towards you at school because of your obesity. What if the teacher bullied you at school for being overweight? Your elementary school teacher nailed your already shaky self-esteem. What baggage are you living with now? Twitching every time you see a woman on the street who looks like that teacher, automatically remembering her words. Moreover, her voice has long turned into yours. You tell yourself this and think that this is the norm. She added to your confidence that you are fat and unworthy of anything good in this life. All this really interferes with your weight loss process. These risk factors are very significant. If in your case, from your mini-societies, you only took away negative beliefs about yourself, then they will prevent you from losing weight. You have low self-confidence plus thoughts that you've been fat all your life. So what can you change at 30? The habit of finishing your food and the belief that you shouldn't throw away food will make it very difficult for you to reduce the amount of food you eat. With all this, you will be additionally pressed by the fact that in our society, it is already accepted to be slim and successful. Maybe you could live in peace with your 13 extra kilos, but when you go out and talk to your friends, you feel these unwritten rules. You need to lose weight. Darling, you're not normal. All these risk factors are not your fault. They exist independently of you, and they have already influenced you. They are already sitting in the subcortex and in the brain in the form of phrases, beliefs, and in the form of your internal judgments about yourself. Like the grades in the diary, motherfucker, for the last quarter, don't put them anywhere. The third group of risk factors, addictions. Oh, this is a delicate and scary topic. But these damn addictions, they exist, and it will be silence and lies to avoid them in this book. Because they influence your overeating, there are many types of dependencies. However, the mechanism of action is the same, and through what tool a person will close his problems is everyone's individual choice. The situation can be in 2 ways. 13. If there is already an addiction. 14. Or is there only a tendency towards addictions? So, the term food addiction does not exist. It's incorrect. Instead, it is correct to use the term eating disorders. These are psychological disorders in the relationship with food. In medicine, everything that does not have a clear physiological cause, a broken arm, a severed leg, infectious diseases is called, has a psychogenic cause, and in our case, doctors say that for any degree of obesity, the main cause is psychogenic overeating. That is, overeating associated with psychological causes of eating disorders. Where did the phrase food addiction come from? It's just that the essence of the phenomenon of overeating is very similar to addiction. Let's figure it out, because these words are threatening. How does someone know that you are addicted? This is primarily associated with the phrase alcohol addiction. But we don't need this.